Okay, this is my 2022 travel hiking and backpacking luxury setup. My last video on camping, I did a 1.5 pound base weight setup using my Mylar and plastic tubes. It's good down to about freezing and uses just a little, one of those little over the shoulder bags, enough to go out for a night and, carry a bottle of water and a sandwich and, maybe a thing with you. Weighs 1.5 pounds. Waterproof, and it works beautifully with a little ultralight hammock. This is the full luxury setup. I haven't skimped on anything in here. So on the top, I've got 6 Moon Designs. I got a bunch of videos with this thing. This is my rain gear, but it's also my tent. This is a cape. There's no sides like there are in a poncho, and the enclosure is all the way around. You can put this all the way down on the ground and get complete coverage, or leave the beak up so you get really good air circulation, depending on how the weather is. So this thing weighs 10 ounces, and I've just got some titanium pegs to put that in. I also carry up here just a little 1 ounce pair of gloves. It's got some waterproofing on it. Love these so I don't get my hands wet or cold, like in snow, for example, or if I'm, sawing wood or something like that, I can keep them from getting hurt. Super light, they work really well. That's it for the top. This is also my pillow. I love using this as a pillow. Works beautifully. I just get in the bivy, use a bivy in this setup, and pull the bag up over the pad, and this thing, I turn the bag upside down, and this thing just pops up. And with this, or if I happen to be in the tent, then I just stick the hammock in there. I'm in the tent, I'm not in the hammock. So I always have something to stick in there, put clothes and things too, but hammock just pops right out and goes in there, stuffed up nicely, and that works absolutely beautifully as a pillow. On the outside, got a couple bottles, just smart water bottles, and in this particular bag, I kind of flip-flop back and forth depending on what I've got open. This is a sort of mini, but also got the regular sort of squeezes. And I have a backup Sawyer in there, so I usually have at least 2 ways of doing filtration. I also keep my ground cover, and these things are tied in so they don't pop out while I'm walking, unless I manage to pop them like that. So in this outside pocket, I also have right now my polycryo sheet, so it's easy to grab if I just want to sit down and be able to lay some things on the ground or sit down on the ground. Got some ways to sit in here, but it just fits right there. It's really easy to grab, just to put things on the ground, keep them from getting wet, and keep yourself from getting wet. In the front pocket, I have some electronic things. I have one little really super luxury item, which is a little solar panel, and it's in plastic, so it doesn't get hurt if we get some rain. I can also just stick the batteries in a little battery, USB battery that's got a cable already in it, and I've got a little it's got a cable, actually an adapter in it, little 4 cable, and my headlamp, which I can also use as just a regular light, USB powered, so I got power in a couple ways. I just love having this little solar panel. Is fantastic. It's the lightest one I could find that would actually power directly my phone, so I can plug my phone directly into it. But normally I'd rather just power up the battery. Charges a little more easily, and it's all accessible, so I can just get the light, especially right there, and it fits perfectly. a great little solar panel. Tried a whole bunch of them, and none of them give quite the same power and are that light. So I'll just jump right back. All that stuff is super accessible. And on the other side of the brain, this is on the floor right now with the sleeping bag. On the other side of the brain, I have got a poop kit. So there's a little inside zipper. Poop kit has a trowel, got some toilet paper, and it's also got a bidet and a little bottle for the bidet. So super light, saves on paper for the day. That just goes right here. All I gotta do is lift the brain and pop that out. Let's see. So in the main compartment, the big main compartment is mostly just the sleep system. And I really prefer to be in a bivvy. I have got the tent in here, which is nice to sit around in. Also useful if it's like super, windy or rainy, having a place to stay, or I can stay out. But I'm really more comfortable in a bivvy. And the bivvy that I've got, this is in this one, this is the Sierra Designs backcountry bivvy. The long version, this thing is huge. I think it's 40 inches wide. It's got bug mesh. So we've got a bug-free place to stay, whether I'm in the tent or not. I love this. You can tie the center of this up, put it on the pole inside the tent if you want, or just out in the, woods tied to a branch. But I'm really comfortable. I've been in the bivvy so many hundreds of nights. I just love this this little setup. It's absolutely huge in here. I can bring the bag in comfortably, using a pillow. Everything fits in there, bring my shoes in. This thing has something like an 18,000, grams per day breathability rating, and it's got a, I think it was 10 or 11,000 millimeter waterproof rating. So super waterproof. It's still, that's for the top fabric. On the bottom fabric, like when it's 20 degrees and you're all locked up in there, it does still condense, but dries out in really quickly. Let it down and dries right off. Absolutely love this bivvy. It's the biggest one I've ever found, and it's just super comfortable. I can move around, have space in there to do things, and I can basically just toss this on the ground, put everything in, and then I can inflate my pad and everything inside the bivvy. It's big enough for me to sit up and do all that stuff. It's absolutely enormous. I love it. I got a little food bag. Food bag has got some no smell bags. I forget the brand of these. I think it's something like no smell bags. I've got one plus some extra. These are smelly proof bags. Really big ones, hold more food, hold like a week of food in here. And I've got a second one as backup in case it springs a leak. Got a garbage bag, put all wrappers and stuff. I don't cook at all. There's just a cook system. I don't cook in my normal life, so that's no different. I love going that way. In here I've got some soap and some more face washing stuff. I've got my toothbrush and all that. It can be smelly. I'll also got a razor in here just because that all kind of goes together. I got some tape around those bottles too to fix things. That's all in a separate little bag. And then I've got this extra one just in case. Kind of a little overboard on the amount of bags I can have, but just because I really like having a no smelly thing to keep animals away. And I got the bag hanging kit, which is just, I took this off my head net, just like a little tiny, it weighs a quarter of an ounce or something like that. And I use, this is a 300-pound Dyneema line. And I think there's actually like 70 feet in there, so I got some extra. Super, super thin, but it's 300-pound test. That weighs like an ounce. Super, super light. And, fill the bag up with the rock or some dirt, toss it over the tree. And got a good hanging kit. I do have a bear bag and bear vault, if that's required in the park, but nothing around my part of the country requires it, so this is good enough. And very, very nice and light. Just a no-name dry sack to hold everything in. So it works very nicely. This is my hammock, little tiny thing. This is a Wise Owl Featherlight hammock. I take all of the hardware off, so this thing ends up weighing something like 4 or 5 ounces by the time I'm done. I even cut off the little Wise Owl patch, and I make my own straps. I've got a ton of videos from the past that show how I hang. This is my whole strap system, and I take off all the metal and everything, and I just use Dyneema line. Ties to the straps with the little sheet bend, and that's it. So this stuff is fantastic. You do, when you're using Dyneema with for your suspension, you have to do the sheet bend with a double wrap before you pull it through. But I just do releases. I've gotten so used to hanging this, I can hang this in about 30 seconds. I can do it faster than with commercial straps. And that's my whole setup. That's my entire hammock setup. Love this freaking thing. I got a bunch of these in there. They're really great. They're very comfortable for, just for hanging out, and I keep them in all my vehicles. I keep them in my daily carry bag. I just love this hammock. Girlfriend and I hang out in that every once in a while, and it's nice. So when I go to make camp, put my little poly cryo sheet down and just put the bag on top of it, so on top of the poly cryo. Toss this out, just lay it down. It doesn't need to be staked down. I don't stake it down. I prefer not to. And then if there's any bad weather, just get right in. No problem. Also, if I want to set up a tent, I'm using it's raining or there's precipitation, I take the tent out. I'm wearing the cape. I made a video of this. I can just stake out the cape while I'm underneath it, so my bag never gets wet. The cape is also the cover. It does a fantastic job, better than any other pack cover could do, because there's no side openings on the cape. That's the difference between a cape and a poncho. And I can just stake that out, so again, I don't get wet. But typically, I just get in my bivvy. I don't like to have to stake things out. I can go wherever there is enough room for me to lay on the ground. So really, really super simple to set up camp. Toss the bivvy on top of the poly cryo sheet and get in. And the next thing I do is pull out my sleeping bag, keep the sleeping bag in here, and I do have some little waterproof bags that I can use this with, but this particular bag is an old Mountain Hardware, what is this one? The Ultra Lamina, 15 degree. These things work even if they get wet. It's no down, but it's really super compressible, comfy. I love this bag. I have no worries about getting a little bit of water on it, and in a really dire situation, it works just fine. It's totally soaked. Then for the wintertime, I got a Thermarest X Therm. This thing is the best pad for weight, and it's about 1 pound 4 ounces for the pad, and inside that it's got the pump stack. Just fill it up like 10 times. I don't know how many it actually takes, but like 10 times, and you got a really, really nice. This is a 25-inch wide pad, so I love this thing. This is actually the older one. I've got another newer one. This shaves a couple of ounces off compared to the newer one. I think the sub stack and the wing valve weigh a little bit more on on the new one. This is shaves a couple ounces off. And so just pop that stuff inside the bivy. I can sit up inside this bivy and blow. And I've got bug protection when there's bugs, and then I've got complete rain protection that's nice and breathable. So I won't close it all up. I have got a little bag of clothes in here. I keep that inside my bug net. I've got these old camp pants, 3-ounce pants. They're rain and wind pants. Underwear. I've got a really ultralight shirt. Socks, several pairs of socks, and I also have this balaclava and arm sun protector. So I put the sun protectors on, put the balaclava on. I use that all day in the summertime, and I don't get burnt. Basically, my eyes are showing, and the balaclava goes inside my shirt, and so I have no sun, no skin exposed to sun. I always wear pants, even in the summertime. That's just the way I roll. So, and then of course I got a bug net. So I'm in a really buggy area. I can use that too. But generally with balaclava on, it's not a problem. Okay, inside. So you have a tent pole for the tent. This is all it takes is one. These are aluminum, but you can save about an ounce. But these, I get these. I think the brand is pronounced Venus, and then there's some that I've gotten from AliExpress. They're nice little 11-inch, I think 11-inch or even less, 5-fold poles, so I can put this up all the way up to about 50 inches. And if I want to really hunker down, I just don't fold one of them. That goes on the ground. I just don't attach one of them. And so I get a really nice low tent that goes all the way to the ground. That's how I set up that tent. Again, I can set the tent up. I just stake it down, and I'm inside the tent with the hood and everything protecting me. And then I can lay down my sheet, get all this out, put the tent pole up, and I got some videos of doing that. It works beautifully. You don't have to ever get wet at all. I've got, these are my little spikes. These are like 6 ounces. They're really worth it for walking on snow, for walking on anything slippery. Love these freaking things. They're the kind, basically these have real nice straps. They're actually cleats. So they have metal pieces that go down, and they're not the kind that break off real easily, the nice thick metal cleats. And these have 2 straps, one that goes around your center of your foot and one that goes around so they don't come off, they don't break off as easily. It's just one big strip of cleats that goes right in the center of your shoe and holds on really tightly. Love these things. They're really cheap too, like less than $10. And I've got a sit pad. So I have a seat. I do have a seat that I use. It's over there. I don't have it in the bag right now. And I've got the light, I forget what the main brand of that is. It weighs 2.65 ounces to have a seat that you can rest back. So I'll actually sit on this if it's the winter, and it's the kind that has a little couple crossing poles, and you can put the crossing poles back. That whole seat weighs 2.65 ounces, so that will go in here. I've also got the Cascade, I can't remember the other one that uses your trekking poles. Can also use tent poles for that. That's just a nice little seat. I also use this. It's really, really cold, and if I want to put my arm outside of the sleeping bag, I have enough room inside the sleeping bag to stick this all the way to the side. It's also a good little table. I can put things on, keep it from getting cold on the ground. But I'll use this kind of like a little pad for my arm to have my arm out. And I've used that before when it's super, super cold, just to have a little extra room so I can put my arm out for a little while if I want. Got a little bag of ditties in a wet sack. I have got extra headphones. Also carry a pair of headphones in my coat pocket. I got a few pairs of hearing protectors to sleep if it's noisy. This is a little pack of cards, which can be fun. useful. It weighs an ounce or two. I don't think 2 ounces. Maybe I don't think it even weighs an ounce actually. A little tiny, itsy bitsy, tiny pack of cards. Duct tape. I do have cotton pads for just taking care of my face. The reason I have these in the plastic bag is so they don't cut up everything in there. But I've got a lighter. I've got a nail file. I've got USB charger with 2 inputs. And I got a little button in case I break a button on any of my clothes. It's like a temporary button. You just kind of stick it in the cloth and it works as a button. I have in here also the sort of squeeze bottle. Carry the 2 bottles on the outside, but it's just a backup in case anything happens. I like to have that stuff backed up. I have some tenacious tape for fixing cloth. Carry another Sawyer squeeze. And a little bag of medicines, ibuprofens, Tylenols, and some Benadryl. There's this Band-Aid in here too. I do have the what is that? Hydrogen peroxide. I use that to wash with actually, but it's good for tending a wound. I have another poly cryo sheet in here. These things, this weighs 1.2 ounces within the bag, so it's great to have an extra one of these if one rips. They are so strong, but look at how tiny that is. I got a whole other ground sheet in case I ever break. I like to have some backups like that. I got one of these little pill towels if I want to, wipe down tent or a condensation inside the bivvy. Can do that, or for anything else. Carry some paper towels too. Not really necessary, but it's nice to have them. I've got a mask in here. Got a bunch of little repair tapes. Carry some money. I have a little Fresnel lens here. It's just kind of fun to play with starting fires. Bunch of money in case I go anywhere. It's like 100 to 15, couple 20s. Some patch kits for the tent and for the sleeping bag. I've also got a little mirror in here so I can take care of myself if I want to. If I want to shave, I do have a razor in there. Let's see, some other nice little things. Some more tape. I like to have tape to repair things. That's really more for my tubes. I don't need it so much for this setup, but it's nice to have it in there. To fix things, if there's anything else hiding out in here, just keep that all wrapped up. Also, in this little bag, there's, again, just to play with, this is one of the, what do you call it, ferrocerium rods to start a fire. It is a backup. I keep the lighter, and of course, if I want to start a fire, I'm going to use the lighter, but it is fun to play with the ferrocerium rods, start a fire that way. It's just a nice little skill and a fun thing to do around camp. And that's it. So I put all this stuff, goes in this one little ditty bag. I love having all these backups, backup water bottle, backup poly cryo sheet, all this extra stuff. There's a lot of little luxury things in here that maybe people might think I'm crazy to carry, but I got medicines, got everything else that we really need. And these, I have 3 different pairs of ear things that are useful. These things like weigh nothing. And an extra pair of headphones, gotta have them. This little thing of cards, it's fun. For solitaire, I carry enough battery power that I can just use my phone. If I'm going to go on a long trip, that's one of the things that will get swapped out. I can use my phone all day with battery power I've got. I mean, just be doing stuff on it all day if I'm stuck in a tent in the rain or something like that. And then if I need more, I just bring a bigger battery. There's plenty of room here to take a bigger battery. That's it. All this stuff goes back. And it's this quick to put everything away. I use this sheet, this sit pad, as my bag. Oh, and this little bag, I love these freaking things. This thing weighs, I think it's less than half a pound, and I have my high times I've used this particular bag. I've been using these bags for years. I freaking love these things. So part of what keeps this so light. Oh, by the way, on the bag, I cut the zippers off and I use little tiny mini carabiners, really strong mini carabiners, as my zipper pulls. And I take off the pole. You can put them back on. There are these pull ties that come on here. I don't cut the straps off, but I don't use poles most of the time. I have these things to get a little better grip when I'm in icy conditions. It really makes a difference. And everything is so light. This is all less than 10 pounds. It's right around 10 pounds the way it is, but you can see I've got a lot of extra things. I have a full change of clothes in here with wind pants and shirt and everything. I'm really, really totally decked out. And honestly, don't need the tent. I really prefer to be in the divvy. But since I use the tent for a bunch of other things, it's the pack cover, it's also my rain cover, it just makes sense to carry that extra pole. The pole weighs, it's like 3 ounces. And the stakes, those little titanium stakes, I think all of them in there weigh just over 1 ounce. So super, 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 super light. This is really my full comfort setup. I absolutely love this setup. So what I do, everything is set up in the bag, so I just pull it out the way that I need to get to it to set up quickly. It takes me, oh my gosh, I mean, even pumping up the pad is the longest part of the setup. It just takes a couple minutes to set everything up and be ready to be done for the night. I'll close in, and then the bag just goes in here. And so I'll put one of those, what is the name of those super ultralight bags? So they're much lighter than contractor bags or compressor bags, garbage compressor bags. They weigh flume, they're polyflume or something like that. They weigh less than 1 ounce. So if I want to be waterproof, I'm going to use like a down bag. If I want like a longer bag, or something just that's super, super comfy, or maybe I'm going for a little more warmth for the weight, I can still do it in this bag. I've got the really heavy mattress in here, but then I'll use one of those little, I forget what the name of the material is, but I think they're called, has the word flume in it, polyflume or something like that, to just make this waterproof. It weighs less than 1 ounce, and then anything like sleeping bag or clothes that needs to stay dry. And I can still pack like this. I really prefer just to pack the whole thing, not use a compression sack for the sleeping bag, because first of all, the compression sack weighs a few more ounces, and you can't fill in all the nooks and crannies like you can when you just put the sleeping bag in. And of course, it's faster and comfortable, so I really prefer to do that. Put this towel down here. It won't always have a bag on this, just kind of pop it inside right here. Same thing with this. You see I have made just these little nooses for the bottles to hold them on to the straps on the bottom. So those just sit in there nicely, and I can kind of put the bag upside down even, the bottles stay pushed into their pockets. Like this, I just have this on a little noose. And just hold it. And divvy goes up here. You can really, just exactly where all these little holes are. It doesn't take me very long at all. Again, I'll put the divvy in the bag. But I do have that little bag in there, and this is where a polyflume thing would help, because I can just keep everything super dry if I do that. But again, I'm not worried about this bag getting wet. It's a synthetic bag, so I can let it get a little wet if I need to. So that's it. Close it up. I think I got to everything. Get everything that's in here. That's the whole bag. Weighs right at 10 pounds, and I've taken this down. Right now, this setup I've taken down to around 19 degrees, and absolute total comfort. I don't have, there is no setup that I have that is any more comfortable than this. I absolutely love it. I got a tent. I got really fantastic rainwear. I got a really comfortable setup with a really nice pillow setup. I just absolutely love the way this pillow works. I pull it like this. the first thing I do, I got really nice backing on here. And this thing is so freaking light that I don't need a waist belt. One of the things I've really done is try to get this thing set up so that it just isn't heavy. And this is actually a 40-liter bag, so I've got a lot more room for putting food in. I can get about 6 days of food in the bag if I open it up all the way. Got a little whistle on here. Emergency whistle. Cool. And you can see all the zipper pulls. I got zipper pulls everywhere. I've got them on the, added a couple of those also to my tent. I did a couple little modifications to the gateway cape. You can see there is lots of room to put a big bag of food in here if I need to. There is still tons of space, and this can compress down a lot farther. I mean, I can get another good 7 or 8 inches of space in there to put the bag, down as far as I need. I can fill that entire bag up. And lots of room for food. And I'm comfortable with this bag carrying a good 5 days without any issue at all. Keep the bag light, with the good kind of ultralight setup. But I'm not skimping on anything here. In the summer, the one thing that I'll change is put a little lighter sleeping bag and maybe a lighter pad, just so I don't have to use that really expensive pad. I'll use like the Apollo Air pad. I like that a lot, which is good. Down to like freezing-ish. They say it's got a 5 point something R value rating, but I don't think it really does. The X Therm has I think it's 6.9 R value rating, so it's good. Put that right on ice, and down in the single digits, and no problem at all with a good sleeping bag over it. I have a 15-degree bag in there, and I am super comfortable down into the double digits with just that. If I need to go a little lower, I just put my coat on. I always have a coat in those kind of conditions, a coat or two. And then in the summertime, what I'll do is it's more important for me to have bug protection. And although I do have it on the bivvy, it's nice to have a space. So I have just a little, pyramid type bug net, and that weighs another 6 ounces with the stakes in the bag, and actually lighter, and I can get this down a couple of pounds lighter. And if I really want, I can get this down significantly lighter if I use a lighter pad. I don't need to be as cold, but just really, really, really important to be like totally comfortable. I sleep in this like I'm sleeping in my house, and everything else works pretty much the same. It's just super, super comfy on that pad and that little bivvy, the big bivvy that I've got with a good pillow setup and a good good sleeping bag that I pull over my head. I use it like a quilt. Unless it gets absolutely freezing, then I'll do that. It's really, really cold. But on that pad, you can use that bag like a quilt down into comfortably, right into around 20 degrees. And then so in the summer, I'll maybe change out the sleeping bag. Don't have to. I've still got bug protection, but it's really nice in the tent to have a nice, open place to sit. So the bug netting is huge. It attaches in like just a couple seconds. Just pop it up, put the pegs in. It's really like a minute to set the whole thing up. Put the pegs in. It's got a zipper on it and a floor. This is one of the nettings with not a floor, but a netting floor. So it's super lightweight, and I can get that in. I can put it in here, but usually I'll be using a lighter sleeping bag, which will really cut down the weight and the size anyways, and also use a lighter pad. So even with the netting in there, this is a pound or two lighter in the summertime. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else in here to talk about. Freaking love this thing. Super, 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 super lightweight. I mean, it's just a little less than 10 pounds right now. And I've got some of my, some of those liquids in that really aren't part of the base weight. And I got, even a solar panel, good little solar panel that can actually run So if I am someplace just kind of sitting around and get out in the sun, I could sit there all day and use my phone, and this will just keep it at 100% the whole time. Even in pretty low light conditions, and like if it's cloudy out, that solar panel it's a Lixada solar panel. It's the lightest one they make. It will power up the battery. It may not have enough power to power up the phone, to charge the phone, but it will charge the battery, so I can get power out of it and get a lot of extra hours out of the phone. So I might not keep up with use, but it's really super useful. Just keep the power, so I'll have the phone plugged into the battery plugged into the solar panel, and so I just get a lot more extra power that way. And same thing, charge my light and so on. This is like a little cheap no brand light, but absolutely fantastic. It has 3 settings, and I took the strap off and make it just a tiny bit lighter. Just used a bungee cord. Got these bungee cords on here too. Trying to think of anything else I can tell about this. Another thing I can take out, I don't really need this sit pad, but in the wintertime, it's nice to just be able to pull that out. I have my hammock. I'll usually go for hammock before anything else. And I can use this, if I'm in a place where I want to use a hammock, I'll just put the bivy in the hammock with the pad. I don't use an underpad when I'm using this kind of setup. I'd rather sleep on the ground with this really good pad and a really nice setup in the bivy than in the hammock. But I love to lay in a hammock, so during the day, instead of having a chair, I do have that little chair I can lean back in the tent. So if I want to be in the 2.65 ounces. So if I want to be in the tent inside bug net, I can do that. But I can also do the same thing, just getting in the bivy in the hammock, and I've got bug net protection. I've also just used the bug net in the hammock. So there's a lot of ways you can make changes to this. And although it's not necessary, it is nice to have that bug netting in the summer. Again, it's like 6 ounces, and reconfigure during the summer. So I've spent maybe 700 nights or so in a bivy, and I just really prefer it. It's just, I love not having to stake things out. I'm just comfortable in a bivy. I'm more comfortable. It's a bigger space in a bivy than it is to have like a good size, one-man tent. That bivy gives you much more space to sprawl out and just be comfortable. You don't have to, and it's just tiny. It takes up the space that you're going to lie in. That's it. There's no setup. And of course, it's great in the wintertime. I don't worry about winds. The winds go right over you in the bivy. I'm not worried about winds at all. I bring 50-mile-an-hour winds. I've done that a bunch of times. And absolutely tremendous pouring rain, no problem. And if you want, you can put up a tent. If you want to have a little dry area. For me, I'm basically getting the tent free because that is my rain gear. A couple extra ounces for the pole and another ounce for the stakes. And that gives me a framework that I can use to put the netting on if I want to have netting. But it's right in the middle of winter. It's January now. So the only netting, I close my netting up even in the winter time. I like being inside the bag. I just love having that breathable space on the backcountry bivy. Love that freaking backcountry bivy just because of the size of it, the netting, breathability, fabric on top is breathable. You still get condensation, but that's why I use a synthetic bag. For an overnight, if I want to be super comfy, I might bring like a real nice down bag. I have a few down bags that just are absolutely incredibly comfy. They're a little bigger than the synthetic. This is a very, very nice, small, compressible synthetic. You can still do better with a down bag. And if I was going to do something where I had to go even colder, this will get me down in single digits very comfortably. Just change up the bag. That's all that needs to be changed. So a down bag with Gore-Tex, if I was doing something really, 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 really cold, is what I would go for. Or if I'm going basically any place that I'm ever going to go, just having a coat inside the bag in the worst conditions is all I ever need. I keep my hood on in there, and I'm really comfortable down into single digits using that. And I've done that a bunch of times with this kind of setup. So trust it 100% in the absolute worst conditions. Don't have to worry about snow loading in a bivy. You don't have to worry about wind. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about ground freezing and tent sticks bending. You don't have to worry about any of that, and you don't have to take any time. It's so nice just to be able to plop that thing down, and I don't need to use the polycryo sheet. I just like to. I don't want to polycryo costs a couple bucks, and the bivvies are much more expensive. So I just put the polycryo down, and it's one more layer. So if I'm on snow, it's nice to have that extra layer, even though the bivvy is super waterproof. It's just nice to have one more layer between you and the ground. Use the polycryo sheet, stick the bivvy on top of it. It's literally seconds to get your bivvy set up. Get out of the wind, get out of the rain, get out of the wet conditions, and it's just super comfy inside. That X Therm mattress is the best thing that ever happened to backpackers or campers when you want to be in cold. I think synthetics, because everything else is so small, I could easily cut off a pound or so. That bag in the stuff sack is 2 pounds, 10 ounces, 15 degree bag, male 15 degree bag. And on that pad, on that super warm pad, it is just without anything on, and just with a t-shirt and socks and some kind of bottoms on. It's just warm down to, it really is warm to like 15 degrees. And anything below that is put a coat on. And for me, that's pretty rare. But done it a bunch of times, and it works really nicely. Everything's really accessible too. It's really important to me to have just everything super accessible. That polycryo sheet is just right there. Grab it. Water right there. Filter right there. Food will go in my pockets, and it'll go in some of these outer pockets. Or in the brain. I got a lot more room in the brain of this bag. I just don't put anything else in there. Like I got my gloves right there, and when I'm setting up, super important. Like, so I got my rain gear right here. So when it's raining, grab the rain gear, pop it out, and it's ready to go. But then I want to go for a tent. That's why I keep the stakes right there, so I can stake everything down, put the polycryo sheet on the ground, and then I can set everything down under the protection of the tent and grab the stake and stake it out, and kind of adjust everything. So that works really beautifully. That's more of like a kind of a summer and pre-season thing. This right now is winter setup, and really nice. And it's nice just to have carabiners to hang stuff, and it's nice to have and some of the things I do with the tent. Sometimes I'll hang some extra things like the bug netting. And I just got so much protection from bugs and everything else already in the bivvy, and I have the balaclava, I have the face mask, I have some gloves. So I'm in a really bad area, even without having the bug net. Still pretty darn good. I just don't like having things run around me. So when it is nice out and I don't want to be in the bivvy, kind of just want to be under the tent in really nice conditions, it is really nice to have that fully enclosed bug net. 6 more ounces. It's nothing. And it just packs down again, like all those other things, crazy little small, because it's not a big thick floor. It's just netting all around one zipper going up and down. I have lighter bug net options, which are like with no floor. I just don't like them. You have to lift up the peg and climb under the netting. I really do prefer to have something that's totally enclosed. And if I'm worried about things like mice, then I have a net all around me. Plus, if I'm in some place that's really bad, or if there's like little midges, the netting on the bivvy won't let anything through. I mean, the smallest things. So really want to, or if I'm worried about things like snakes, I can keep the netting, and then I've got a bivvy also to get in, also everything else. So just no issues. And if it's like super crazy rainy, I can be under the tent. If I'm not gonna hike for a day, I'm just hanging out, I can be under there. I got my cards, I got a computer, my phone, with extra power, plenty to do, and can be very comfortable. I got a little seat that I can lean back in, so I can stay comfortable for a long period of time, just like if I'm at home, where I can lay the pad out and lie down, or I can sit up using the seat. Every possible comfort, just like being at home. Really So it's important to me to have everything really just be like home. So I do have a base weight that goes down to 1.5 pounds with just the tube and that ultralight hammock and a little very ultralight bag, much lighter than this one. Not just, an overnight setup for the summertime, works really well. And can go all the way down to freezing and protects you from rain too. That's a great setup for just going out overnight. But this is a little gravel from going anywhere. And this is small enough to stick in the overhead compartment. If I squish that down, this is small enough to go in the carry-on. And I have my normal daily bag that I carry with me that has more. That's where I'll put all my regular travel stuff. So don't need to do any sort of what you call, I got a spider crawling across the bed. Any sort of checking bags. This and my regular daily carry bag. I'm gonna have a lot more electronics. Absolutely everything I need in there to do more civilized stuff. And I can go for a couple of days with that bag. And for travel, I just put some more clothes in it and some more overnight, like toiletries and things. And that's all I need. So that's my whole setup.